Buenas noches, padres. Bienvenidos a la clase de español. Yo soy Jessica Mendez. I am your sons and daughters Spanish teacher this year. If you don't already have it, this is my contact information, jmendez@heartdistrict.org. And when we get back in the classroom, you can reach me at extension 541. Just to share a little bit about me, I was born in Guatemala, and I moved to the United States when I was 15 years old. I attended Hollywood High School, where I learned English for the first time. I went to college after I graduated from high school, and I obtained a BA in psychology. Later, I went back and got my master's in education, along with my teaching credential, and I also have a master's in school counseling. I have been teaching since 2005, and I have been at West Ranch since 2008. I am married. I have 3 wonderful daughters, and I feel that I am blessed with a very supportive family. I love cooking, reading, traveling, and gardening. These are my classes for this semester. I am teaching Spanish 1 and 2. For the live instruction portion of my class, I do my class through Zoom. We meet every other day. And when we meet, I require my students to have their first and last name show on their screen. A picture is very helpful. And during class, during the entire class, I require them to have their cameras on. And the reason that I do this is for security. I have already had a couple of incidents where students, not students of mine, come in my class and they steal people's names, and they come in and they say inappropriate things. So in order to avoid that, I require that my students show their name and their last name on the screen and along the camera the entire class, basically for their safety. In addition to Zoom, our meetings, our live instruction every other day, I have also created a Google Classroom for every period. Google Classroom is where I post my agenda, I post my note, all the classwork, and any other materials that I need my students to have access to. We also use VHL Central. It's also called SuperSite. This is in addition to the textbook, and this is where students do a lot of practice exercises. I have a Quizlet classroom account for all my classes, and this is where students practice their vocab. We also use Kahoot on a regular basis. My students love playing games. So this is where I have students play games to reinforce concepts. And lastly, we use Flipgrid, and I use Flipgrid for students to record themselves speaking in the target language to me. This is a less scary method of talking to me. I find that it's easier for them to record themselves and talk to me in Spanish as opposed to having them talk to me in front of a whole classroom. For my class, it's important that students have access to a computer, a printer, paper, pens, highlighters, color pencils. It's very important that they have the textbook and a binder. My virtual class, this is what my class looks like on any given day. I start by taking attendance. I follow that up with announcements. I have a warm-up activity for them to do every class we meet. We follow that with notes. If we have a new concept to learn, I give them notes. If we don't have notes, we do practice. I am a big fan of breakout rooms. I break them into rooms where they work with a partner or in a small group. And I get to visit each room, and I get to make sure they're on task and working as I want them to. The wrap-up portion of my class is I require them all to be back and present. Just want to make sure that everybody's back in the classroom. And this is where we discuss homework. Please know that homework is not always assigned. I am not assigning homework on a nightly basis. Homework is assigned occasionally and anytime the work is not finished in class. Late work. I do accept late work for half credit. They have up until the day of the chapter test to turn in any work for that chapter. However, it is accepted for half credit only. All my students have access to a chapter calendar. I upload this at the beginning of the chapter, and this tells them when tests and quizzes are and when assignments are due. In addition to that, students have reminders from Google Classroom. When they log into Google Classroom, one of the first things they see is a reminder. If they have an assignment due, it tells them, remember your assignment is due today at midnight, or something like that. So I do hold my students accountable for work because they have many ways of knowing when assignments are due. Assessments. We will have grammar quizzes, vocab quizzes, and chapter tests. All the assessments will be done using the VHL website or the super site or Google Forms. Either or, we have already practiced in class. I have had students log into the website, and I have had practice assessments using Google Forms. Spelling and accents are extremely important, and they must be used in class. Students know that they will lose points if they do not spell or use accents correctly. All my students have been given access to a accent cheat sheet where I told them how to do accents on different devices. And like I said before, because we have practiced in class, they know how to access accents and how to place accents on the different words where they're needed. Grading scale, 20% of the grade is speaking and participation, 25% is assignments, 20% is quizzes, and 35% is tests. Students must earn at least a 70%, a C minus, to be able to move on to the next class. Grades will be updated weekly using Infinite Campus. If you're looking on Google Classroom for grades, you will not find them there. All grades will be updated using Infinite Campus. Flex time. Our distance learning schedule allows for flex time on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays and Fridays from 1:40 to 3:30 p.m. This is time that has been set aside for students to get one-on-one help if they need it. I do ask my students to let me know ahead of time so that I can schedule a one-on-one Zoom meeting with them. I tell my students I'm a teacher. I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know if they need the help. I don't know if they require a meeting, so they have to let me know before time. I'm also available at the dismissal of every class and via email. So students ask me, is it possible to get an A in your class? And the answer is yes. As a matter of fact, I think it's very easy to get an A in my class. I give them all the tools they need to be successful. I prep really, really well for all my classes. I give them good notes. I give them everything they need. So all I ask for them is to take good notes. They have to review and study the notes. I ask them to do all the activities on their own. I encourage them to practice daily. Practice daily can include watching TV. A good way of getting that practice is listening to the news in Spanish, reading books in Spanish, listening to other people speaking in Spanish. Most importantly, I encourage them to ask me questions and take advantage of flex time. If they don't ask me questions and they don't ask for help, I don't know that they're struggling. So if you as parents know that your students need help, please encourage them to ask me questions and take advantage of flex time. And lastly, I encourage my students to never ever give up. They can achieve anything they want if they keep trying. So this is all my presentation tonight. I thank you very much for listening. If there's anything that I did not cover in this presentation, please send me an email. Do not hesitate to ask. I'm happy to help you. And if I don't know the answer, I can guide you in the right direction. Once again, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a good night, and I will see you around. Take care.